Fourth Wing copies the moves of better books without understanding the game. Here's what it steals, what it breaks, and why it's just fun isn't a shield. Hi! Welcome back to Liz Who Take episode number 10. Today we're talking about Fourth Wing. Okay, Violet Sorrengail is small, she's breakable, everyone around her is stronger, faster, and deadlier. And the two most important men in the story are drawn to her before the book has really earned why. Old trick, the frail girl desired precisely because she's frail, like vulnerability is its own kind of magnetism. It's efficient. You don't build a reason for a character to be wanted, you just make her fragile enough that wanting her reads as tenderness instead of what it is, a shortcut. Her body is failing before the plot even starts. That failing becomes the thing every male character responds to. And Xaden doesn't fall for someone he's watched grow. He falls for someone the narrative already decided was worth falling for. And the book just expects us to catch up. Listen to how the prose frames her before she's done anything to earn the framing. I'm so freakishly weak. I've never been strong. I've never been brave. That's one page. Before the story's even started, the book has already told you what to feel about her. Fragile, vulnerable, is in need of protection. And then it builds every male gaze around exactly that. A heroine whose desirability gets earned through the story hits different than one whose desirability gets declared before it starts. The trope isn't manufacturing tension, it's manufacturing the look of tension without doing the work tension actually takes. A love interest with no arc isn't a character, he's a mood board. Like Xaden, he's brooding, dangerous, secretly soft for her. That's the whole file. His emotional arc is surprisingly thin for how central he is. Doesn't want something at the start that he loses or gains by the end. He shows up fully formed like furniture you're meant to admire, not a person you watch to move. Okay, here's Xaden describing himself. I am storm, I am violence, I am the shadow. That's not a person talking. That is a Pinterest board, my dear. 900 pages, and that's still the whole file. No shift, no arc, just the same dark furniture rearranged. Same deal with the world. Navarre has dragons, war college, rebel factions, real bones, but bones aren't a body. We're told the empire runs on secrets and betrayal, and then handed almost nothing that makes that claim mean anything. No functioning economy. No political structure with stakes beyond what the plot needs this week. No sense the world exists when the camera's off Violet. Flat characters in a flat world can still be fun. They can't be substantial, and a story that wants to be more than fun needs more than a nicely decorated room. Chosen protagonist, elite training institution, war looming on the horizon. Does it sound familiar to you? That's Harry Potter's scaffolding, borrowed wholesale. Throw in a televised life or death competition with built-in eliminations, and Hunger Games is standing right next to it. But you know, none of this is automatically a problem. Every story borrows bones. What matters is whether the new story understands what that borrowed structure is supposed to do or not. Harry Potter's school exists to track a kid's slow moral formation across 7 years. The stakes climb because we've watched Harry become someone who can face them. And Hunger Games competition exists to strip away comfort and force a character to reveal who she actually is under pressure she never chose. And both of these structures are earning something, not decoration, the mechanism the character's growth runs through. Fourth Wing takes the same shapes and empties them out. The War College is a setting, not a mechanism. Violet doesn't become someone new by surviving it. She survives because the plot needs her to, then keeps being exactly who she started as. What those originals earned, Fourth Wing just borrowed. But none of that means the appeal is fake. People aren't wrong to love this book. It moves, chapters end on hooks, danger shows up faster, pacing barely lets you put it down. The Xaden will they, won't they is genuinely well timed as pure delivery mechanism. Whatever's actually going on underneath it. And escapism counts for something on its own. Not every book needs to be a character study. Sometimes you want danger, dragons, romance, full stop, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Fourth Wing delivers the feeling of forward motion, even in the places the substance isn't there. Okay, the obvious response is that who cares if it's derivative? It's entertaining. Isn't that the whole point of genre fiction? Well, that's a fair point. Derivative isn't the crime. Every story stands on older bones, and originality for its own sake was never the virtue people treat it as. There's a difference between building on structure and just occupying it. Harry Potter and Hunger Games didn't invent their tropes either. They took inherited shapes and made them do new work. Fourth Wing takes the same shapes and asks you to mistake familiarity for meaning. Entertaining and well-built aren't opposites. They're just not the same thing, and a book can hit one without hitting the other. I understand if you're in love with Fourth Wing, but maybe I am not the right audience for this one. Romantasy asks for an investment I don't naturally bring, and that's worth admitting outright instead of dressing up as objectivity. But not being the audience doesn't put a book above critic. Fourth Wing borrows a scaffolding from stories that used it to build something real. It mistakes a trope for a character and a decorated room for a world, and it hides behind "it's just fun," like that phrase is a shield instead of a genre. So enjoy it. Millions do, and that's not nothing. Just don't confuse enjoyment with quality. They're not the same measurement, and this book only passes one of them. Now, in the comments, give me one more thing Fourth Wing does that Harry Potter or Hunger Games did better. One example, I'll put it in the comments. Please check it out and tell me what you think. Okay, you just watched me argue that borrowed structure without earned meaning is a kind of theft. And the next video this week on Wednesday, it raises the opposite question. What happens when the story itself might be the thing that is stolen? The Salt Path builds its entire repetition on being true. A real walk, a real diagnosis, a real marriage holding together against the odds. And readers didn't just enjoy it, they trusted it. Then the reporting started, and pieces of that true story stopped adding up. So for the next video this week, I'm gonna talk about what happens to a memoir's meaning when the true part comes apart, and whether a beautifully told story can survive losing its claim to being real. Subscribe if you want to be there when it drops. See you then, and thank you guys, thank you a million times for your support, your likes, your comments, and your subscribes. Thank you so much. I love you. Mwah. Bye.